Welcome to the Products and Services Lecture Series. In this video, we discuss what is a product and types of consumer products. Before we get started in our discussion on consumer products, we first need to define what is a product. A product is a bundle of attributes that a person receives in an exchange. This is anything offered by a firm to provide customer satisfaction, whether tangible or intangible. A product can be a tangible good, such as your cell phone or laptop, a service, such as Netflix or a haircut, or an idea, such as recycling. Packaging, style, color, options, and size are some of the features that come with our product. The product offering, which is also known as the heart of the marketing mix, is usually the starting point for creating our marketing mix. We must have a product to create the other three Ps. If we don't have a product, we have nothing to price, we have nothing to promote, and we have no need for a place. Now that we've defined what a product is, let's talk about the different levels that make up a product. When we think about any product, we can break it down into 4 distinct levels: the core product, the tangible product, the augmented product, and the promised product. Understanding these levels helps us appreciate what customers are actually buying when they make a purchase, because the answer is often so much more than just the physical item itself. A core product is the most fundamental level. It satisfies the most basic need of the customer. Ask yourself, why did you actually buy this product? What problem is it solving for you? The answer to that question is the core product. Here's the interesting thing. The core product is complex because it's highly individualized. 2 people might buy the exact same item for completely different reasons. Think about reusable water bottles. For one person, the core product might be the physical health benefits of drinking enough water throughout the day. But for another person, it might be cost savings from purchasing single-use bottles. And for someone else entirely, it might be the social aesthetic that comes with having a trendy water bottle. The product is the same. The core need being satisfied is different for each individual. Once we've identified the core benefit, we move to the tangible product. The tangible product refers to all aspects of the product that you can actually touch and hold. This includes things like product features, quality level, brand name, styling, and packaging. These are the physical and observable characteristics that you evaluate when you're standing in the store or browsing online. The tangible product varies by individual, product type, and situation. The tangible elements of candy might include the brand name, Palmer's versus Hershey's versus Dove, the quality of the exterior packaging and wrapping for the individual pieces, the quality of the chocolate itself. If we use a gym membership as an example, the tangible elements might include the equipment available, the cleanliness of the facility, the layout of the space, and even the logo on your gym bag. These are all the tangible things that you can see and feel. Next, we have the augmented product. The augmented product is the tangible product plus all the services and extras that support it. This is where companies can really differentiate themselves from the competition. Think about shopping at Walmart. The product you came to buy might just be a bag of chips. But Walmart augments that experience with shopping carts, air conditioning, clean restrooms, self-checkout lanes, and a pharmacy. None of those things are the product itself, but they all support your experience of getting that product. Think about a haircut. The haircut itself is the tangible product, but the hair wash beforehand, the style consultation, a beverage while you wait, and a comfortable environment are all part of the augmented product. Companies that compete well on the augmented level often win loyal customers, even when the core or tangible products are similar to what competitors are offering. The final level is the promised product. The promised product is a characteristic that becomes attached to the product over time. It's the expectation and reputation that builds through repeated experience with a brand or product. This level is highly personalized. Let's use the water bottle again. Think about reusable water bottles. When you choose a brand like Stanley or Hydro Flask, there's a set of promises you expect to be fulfilled. That it will actually keep your drink cold for hours. That it won't leak in your bag. That it holds up over time. Those expectations didn't come from a single purchase. They built up over time through your own experiences, your friends raving about theirs, and the brand's reputation you've seen all over campus and social media. The promised product is powerful because it drives loyalty. When a product consistently delivers on its promise, customers return. And in the case of something like Stanley, they'll stand in line for a new color drop. When it doesn't, trust breaks down. As marketers, understanding what you are promising your customers and making sure you deliver on it is one of the most important things you can do. For this class, we'll be discussing products from the consumer perspective. Do we remember the difference between a customer and a consumer that we talked about in a previous lecture series? The customer is the individual that makes the purchase, and consumer is the one who uses the product. The customer and consumer can be the same person when you buy a shirt that you are going to wear, or the customer and consumer can be two different people when you buy a shirt to give to your friend for their birthday. In consumer products, we have 4 different types. We have convenience, shopping, specialty, and unsought. We start out with convenience products. A convenience product is a relatively inexpensive item that merits little shopping effort. A consumer is unwilling to shop extensively for such an item. Consumers buy convenience products regularly, usually without much planning. Convenience products normally require wide distribution to sell enough to meet profit goals. Some examples of convenience products are candy, gum, soft drinks, items that may be purchased at a convenience store, hence the name, convenience, or at the checkout line in the grocery store. If we're looking at examples like candy, gum, and soda, are you willing to expend much effort searching for these products? Are you willing to spend time going from store to store to store looking for a specific type of gum or a specific flavor of a soda beverage? Most of the time, you're not. You're looking at these items and you're not going to spend a lot of time on them. You happen to glance over at the checkout line and you see the flavor of gum sounds pretty good, or a candy bar sounds great, and throw it in the cart. The second type of consumer product is a shopping product. A shopping product is usually more expensive than a convenience product and is found in fewer stores. Consumers usually buy shopping products only after comparing several brands or stores on style, practicality, price, maybe lifestyle compatibility, etc. There are 2 types of shopping products. The first type of shopping product is called a homogeneous product, or a homogeneous shopping product. These products are going to be similar. Consumers typically look at the lowest priced brand that has the desired features the customer is looking for. Looking at our example, here we've got different types of medications. We've got what we call the name brand or the manufacturer's brand on the left-hand side, and then the private label or store brand on the right-hand side. We have Advil liquid gels, and then over in our store brand, we have ibuprofen liquid capsules. We have Pepto-Bismol, then we have stomach relief. We have Band-Aid, then we've got the store brand clear bandages. Looking at these two different brands, Advil and ibuprofen are going to have the exact same features. They are going to be the exact same makeup. Pepto-Bismol and stomach relief, again, are going to be the exact same product. By law, they must be. In this case, these products are not just similar, they're the exact same thing, just marketed under two different brand names. Another great example of a homogeneous shopping product is a washing machine. When you go to buy a washing machine, you're likely comparing a Whirlpool to a Maytag or maybe a store brand option. And you'll find that they all have roughly the same parts and the same core features. They wash your clothes. You, as the consumer, just need to decide which specific features matters most to you, such as capacity, energy efficiency, brand name, or cycle options. And then you will oftentimes select the product that has the lowest price among the options that meet those needs. Opposite of the homogeneous shopping products are heterogeneous shopping products. With heterogeneous products, these products, instead of being similar, are now quite different in characteristics. Consumers often have trouble comparing heterogeneous shopping products because the prices, quality, and features vary so much. If I give us the example of Hendrix College compared to the University of Arkansas, we could say that these are heterogeneous shopping products. Consumers often have trouble comparing these heterogeneous shopping products because the prices, quality, and features vary so much. If we break this apart and we're looking at price, is the price of tuition at Hendrix anywhere near the same as the price of tuition at the University of Arkansas? Hendrix is a private liberal arts college, carries a significantly higher sticker price than the University of Arkansas as a public institution. So in this case, the prices are very different. The format of the education received is also perceived as being quite different. At Hendrix, students are going to be in much smaller classes where they get individualized attention, close relationships with their professors, and a strong emphasis on writing and a liberal arts-focused education. At the University of Arkansas, our classes are a bit larger, and with that comes a broader range of resources, a wider variety of degree programs, more research opportunities, a large campus community, and a well-known athletic culture. While you may not receive the same individualized attention in all of your classes, you do have access to a much larger network and a wider array of opportunities. We can say that the format and the experience of the education are different. One is not better than the other. They are just different. We would say that these are heterogeneous products. A different example of heterogeneous products are clothing and vehicles. What you prefer to wear might be vastly different to some of your friends. The vehicle you choose to drive might be very different to someone else's vehicle. When we select clothing and vehicles, it's often difficult to compare different products because products within the same category can vary so differently depending on the price, the quality, and the features. With heterogeneous shopping products, we oftentimes say you're finding the best product for ourselves. This may not be the best product for someone else, but it's the best product for me. The third type of consumer product is a specialty product. A specialty product requires extensive search and acceptance of very few substitutes. The examples I've given you here are an expensive designer handbag and a Rolls-Royce. Think about a luxury handbag from a brand like Hermes or Chanel. If you are in the market for that specific bag, you are willing to drive a significant distance to get to the right boutique or department store that carries it. You are not going to settle for whatever handbag happens to be available at the closest mall. At that price point, consumers are simply not willing to accept substitutes. The same goes for a Rolls-Royce. If someone decided they want a Rolls-Royce, they are not going to pull into a Toyota dealership on the way and walk out with a Camry. They will seek out the right dealer no matter how far they have to travel, because at this price range, the consumer has a very specific product in mind, and very few alternatives will satisfy that need. Thus, we would say that both a luxury designer handbag and a Rolls-Royce are specialty products. They require extensive search, consumers are willing to go out of their way to find them, and they accept very few substitutes. Distribution of specialty products is often limited to one or very few outlets within a geographic area. Brand names and quality are often very important with specialty products as well. We've already used the example of luxury vehicles and designer handbags. Additional examples could include clothing and some restaurants. Let's say with clothing, you're looking for a very specific type of item and you're not willing to accept substitutes. For example, when I moved from Louisiana to Wisconsin, I had never in my life seen real snow. When I was shopping for coats, I drove from Wisconsin, I lived in a very small town, over to Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was willing to drive a distance to go to the Columbia store, and I purchased the warmest Columbia coat that they made. Restaurants can also fall into the specialty category. Maybe an upscale steak or seafood restaurant like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse or Fleming's Prime Steakhouse that you are willing to drive a distance for and not willing to accept other restaurant options in a geographic area. The last type of consumer product is an unsought product. An unsought product is a product that is unknown to the potential buyer, or it is a known product that the buyer does not actively seek. Some examples for us of unsought products: fire extinguishers, headstones, I told you I was sick, and my favorite, the lint lizard. Headstones and fire extinguishers most likely fall into the definitional part that says a known product that the buyer does not actively seek. You most likely know that headstones exist, and you most likely know that fire extinguishers exist. However, how many of you own either one? At some point, we are all going to die. So why do you not own a burial plot? Why do you not own a headstone? At some point, long into the future, you're probably going to need it. You may say you're going to be cremated, so you don't need either of them. Okay, I can accept that, but then we can have the same conversation about an urn. How many of us own a fire extinguisher? If you're renting an apartment, you most likely have a fire extinguisher that came with the apartment, which is great, but do you know how to use it? With these unsought products, because consumers do not seek this kind of product out, marketers must instead seek out the consumers. Marketing may be used on a more targeted approach because consumers are not actively thinking about headstones and fire extinguishers, even though they are known products out there. And at least with a fire extinguisher, we really should all have one in our homes that we know how to use. My other product here is the lint lizard. Do you know what a lint lizard is? I mean, you can see the example here of a lint lizard. It sucks up the lint at the bottom of your dryer. The lint lizard is a long tube that attaches to your vacuum cleaner, and it can suck the lint out of the bottom of your dryer, even though, yes, you have a lint catcher. Hopefully, the lint catcher catches a lot of lint, but lint still collects down at the bottom of your dryer, especially if you live with roommates that don't always empty the lint before or after use. You can also use it to suck out the lint that might be in the outside dryer vent, or you could use it to get hard to reach areas, potentially if you drop lint down in between your washer and dryer. It's a very handy product. My mom purchased one for me many years ago, and I still have it and use it. Before watching this video, the lint lizard was probably, for most of you, an unknown product. Before my mom bought one of these for me, I had never heard of a lint lizard either. Another interesting find with Unsought products is that every single new product falls into this category until the consumer becomes aware of it. Anytime a new product is created and released, it's unknown to the potential buyer until we go through some of the different promotional processes to make our consumer aware of the product. Okay, this is where we will end for today. Be sure to tune in to the next video in this lecture series covering services and the differences between products and services.